right, I have a great show for you today. I have former acting director of ICE, Tom Homan, to help us understand President Biden and the lies about the border situation, President Donald Trump, and what can be done to fix it. Tom, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So, right away, I want to, you understand this border and authority stuff. You used to be a former police officer. You worked with ICE under President Donald Trump. Why is President Joe Biden saying he doesn't have authority as the president of the United States to close the border?
Because he's lying. I mean, if he doesn't understand it and the staff's letting him down, he certainly has the ability. He could secure the border tomorrow with a stroke of a pen. That's what President Trump did. Congress wasn't very helpful when President Trump was in office, so he issued a series of executive orders. And like the Remain in Mexico program is just one of many. But and by his actions alone, we have the most secure border of my lifetime. I started in Border Patrol in 1984. I've been doing border enforcement for 34 years. He did it by executive action. Joe Biden, the first 2 weeks in office, signed over 90 executive orders abolishing everything we create, all the programs that we create on the Trump administration to give us the most secure border in my lifetime. And he killed him with a stroke of a pen. Well, you know what? He can reauthorize it with a stroke of a pen. For instance, the Remain in Mexico program, he could turn that on tomorrow. The highest courts in the land said it was legal and it was acceptable, but he chose to end it. So, I hear the administration saying it all the time, but it's just a stone cold lie. That's what President Trump did. He could do the same thing by executive order, a stroke of a pen.
So then why lie? The American people are pretty smart, or are they not?
Well, look, he's been lying since day one. Him and Secretary Mayorkas. How many times they claim the president, the vice president, secretary have all said the border is secure. They've been saying it for 3 years. Now all of a sudden they're saying it's not secure, and they need this what they call bipartisan Senate bill to pass. And let me tell you why they did that. For 3 years they did nothing. So then they got this Senate bill, which is atrocious, by the way. It won't solve the problem at the border. And now they're going to say, well, the House won't take it up, and the House, it will never get approved by the House. So what they're trying to do is flip the script, right? They haven't done a thing in 3 years. But since the election's coming up, and since they know immigration is #1 issue, they got to do something to flip the script. If they really want to secure the border, HR 2, which is the strongest border bill I've ever seen, passed the House. Why doesn't the Senate bring that up? Why does the White House bring that up? Why? Because it would actually secure the border. So they want to throw the Senate bill out that wants to codify the 5,000 illegal entrants a day before they take action to secure the border. Why 5,000? Why not 1? Why not 10? Why is it okay to have 5,000 illegal crossings a day? And to codify that, to make that, okay, that's acceptable. No, the law on this is clear. And also, it does do a thing about child trafficking. And over 450,000 children have been smuggled by the cartels in the United States. They can't find 100,000 of them that they released. And that bill does nothing for that. The bill also does not end catch and release like they claim. If anybody goes to page, I think it's 116, it says for those who claim an asylum or fear, they can be released. Well, just about everybody's claiming asylum and fear. So don't say it ends catch and release against adult males and adult single males and adult females without having the caveat. However, we have a carve out on page 116 to claim fear, you can be released. So the bill's a terrible bill. No Republicans should support it, and I'm glad that they shut it down. I mean, it's a terrible bill.
Yeah.
This is about securing the border. This is about right before the election, try to put blame on the Republicans. That's all. It's another political stunt.
So then why wouldn't the Republicans say, hey, listen, we're walking into a bad deal. Let's vote against this, and then when we go to campaign in our states, we can say these guys have ruined the border. The country's getting worse. We've got all this migrant crime, and it's because they won't fix the border. But then it seems like the majority of Republicans will go along with a bill, even if it's a crappy bill.
Well, the House will never pass this bill, and that's why Speaker Johnson said it's a no-starter. It should be a no-starter. Look, they've had HR 2 for at least 6 months, maybe close to 8 months. Why haven't the Senate brought this to the floor? And I tell you one reason, because it claims it has a lot of Trump policies on it. was to hate. Anything related to Trump to hate. So, I think Mike Johnson's saying the right thing, give us a board bill that matters, or President, rather than fighting amongst Congress and taking 6 months to get something passed, President Biden, write executive order. You can solve this tomorrow by executive action. And look, in the board bill, Senate passed is terrible. I think if Trump wins the White House back, he has a lot better plan in this board bill. This board bill, don't codify it, don't make it law, because it's going to be hard to change it. So I agree that, looking ahead, the best thing to do is force this White House to accept the fact that he unsecured the border on purpose, abolished everything that worked. And look, this isn't a matter of opinion. Did the Remain in Mexico program work? Yeah, look at the data. Did the Third Safe Country Agreement work? Yeah, look at the data. Did the End and Catch Release work? Yeah. I mean, no one can argue that illegal immigration was a 45-year low under Trump because of these policies that he created by executive action. So it's just ridiculous that the president says he doesn't have the power when he does. Again, he doesn't want to fix this. He's never wanted to fix this. He wants to pretend now he cares because the election's coming up. And he wants to flip it to the Republicans. This is a Republican problem now because they didn't pass the bill. Well, I go back and say, well, it's actually your problem because you ignored HR 2. It's actually your problem because you abolished everything that worked. So I think it's I've never been a politician. It's typical politics, but the president is wrong when he says he can't solve this with a stroke of a pen, because he can.
Yeah. It's just lies. I think you were one of the first past Trump people to say, I'm in. Trump, you win again. I'm coming back. I want to serve my country. What are some of the ideas that you would present to Donald Trump on day one to fix this with executive authority?
I think we go back to the Trump era policies. I think we put the Remain in Mexico program back in. We put the Third Safe Country Agreements back in. We end catch and release. We continue building the wall. Walls work. People want to say walls don't work. Well, where's the mass populations coming through now where there isn't a wall? And there's a few places that actually broke through the wall, and that wall hasn't been replaced. I don't know why not. The wall was designed with permanent ballards that can be replaced easily. But walls worked. If you look at every place a border barrier was built, illegal immigration has decreased, illegal drug flows decreased. Walls work, proven effective. So, start the wall back up, and there's some other executive actions you can take. I truly believe that this government spends billions of dollars on due process for those people, that want to, go to immigration court and make a claim they should be allowed to stay, whether it's asylum or something else. And people say, I got a right to claim asylum. I got a right to see an immigration judge. I got a right to due process. Okay, I don't disagree. However, when the final decision is that you must be deported, you must be deported. Because if the final decision of the court isn't carried out, then what the hell are we doing? I mean, might as well shut down the immigration court. Those orders don't mean anything. Take the border patrol off the border, because there's no consequences. There's no incentive to follow the law. So, I've been taking a lot of hate lately, and the president's taking hate lately, saying, you guys are going to run the biggest deportation operation in the history of the nation. But that's threatening. No, it's not. Bottom line is, when we have an historic illegal immigration crisis on the border where millions have entered the country illegally, claiming asylum, and we know based on 10 years of court data, immigration court data, that nearly 9 out of 10 people who claim asylum at the border never get relief from U.S. courts. They're going to end up getting an order of deportation. So you're on the heels of historic illegal immigration crisis where 9 out of 10 will be ordered removed. Of course, that will result in a historic deportation operation. It has to, based on the sheer numbers. So, it's not racist. It's not mean. It's just that's the way this country's set up. The law requires it. We can't spend billions of dollars and give people due process, and at the end, because you don't like the decision, we just forget about it. There's no due process in that at all. So either we follow the system or we don't. So again, a historic deportation operation has to happen to give legitimacy to our system of laws here.
Yeah. Tom, I feel silly asking this, but you just understand this stuff better. Wouldn't it be cheaper to grab an immigrant who came in illegally and put them on an airplane and send them back to their country than to host them for a decade, free meals, up in hotels, $1,000 a month, free cell phone, free legal care, 10 years before their appointment comes up with a judge? Like, I just have to imagine it's much more economical to the U.S. taxpayer to just put them on a plane and say, Go back to Venezuela, go back to Nicaragua, go back to Chad.
Which is exactly why we made a Mexico program was a game changer. If you want to claim asylum, okay, but you're going to wait in Mexico. We're not going to release you into the United States for you not to show up in court or be one of the 9 out of 10 get order removed. Then we can't find you. The mirrors, the remaining Mexico program was a game changer. Let me tell you, after about 60 days, when people realized they weren't being released into the United States, we had to wait in Mexico for the hearing. They stopped coming, which tells you two things. Number one, they're not really escaping fear and persecution. If they're escaping death from their home country, they're going to wait in Mexico rather than go back to die. So they stopped coming because they weren't going to spend their life savings, sell their homes or whatever they had, and give the criminal cartels all this money when they weren't going to get into the United States. And most of them know they don't qualify for asylum. It's asylum fraud. I understand when we see in our videos, whether it's Fox News, whoever does the videos down there, that most of me walk up to them, I come to the United States. I'm coming here to join my illegal alien relative. I'm here to get a job. I'm here for a better life. And I get that, but that's not asylum, right? So Remain in Mexico program worked. You can still claim asylum, but you're going to wait in Mexico. But when they realized they weren't being released, because most of them knew they were going to get ordered deportation sooner or later, they stopped coming. When they stopped coming, they kept their life savings. Less people died. Less women got sexually assaulted by the cartels. Less children drowned in the river. It was a game changer. So that's why it works so well. And what this administration is doing now by releasing it to the United States, they're doing that for two reasons. And let me tell you the reasons. Number one, because they know based on immigration court data over the last 10 years, which they spoke about, 9 out of 10 people who claim asylum at the border will get order removed. At a minimum, 8 out of 10. But the average is 9 out of 10 will get order removed. This administration knows that. They know these millions of people that released in the United States, 9 out of 10 will be order removed. But that's why they're not detaining them. If they're detained in an ICE facility, they get a hearing within 35, 40 days tops. 9 out of 10 will be order removed. They get on an airplane, they go home. But the reason they're releasing them, because the Homeland Security Life Cycle Report, which tracks data within DHS during the alien life cycle, it says a couple things. Number one, it says if you're in ICE detention, you get order removal. You're removed 90% of the time, 99% of the time. If you're not in ICE detention, you get order removal. What happens to you? Well, if you're a family group, you need 6% of the time. If you're an unaccompanied child, you need 3% of the time. If you're a single adult, you need like 14% of the time. So this administration knows it. They know most people are going to fail and get order removal, but if they're not detained, they're not going anywhere. So they'll hide out, become a fugitive, hide out for so many years until another amnesty comes rolling around, because they've learned, and this nation has proven over and over again, if you hide out long enough, we'll give you something. We'll come up with a DACA. We'll come up with a amnesty. I tell you right now, all these family groups coming across now, mark my word, that's your next DACA population. None of them will come down the road unless we finally fix this. And the only way we're going to fix this is get President Trump back in office.
Yeah. Well, okay. Because I have to imagine Remain in America means U.S. taxpayer money, and Remain in Mexico. Mexico's not paying for that. They're saying cover your own bills or go back to your country, right?
Right. Because they're putting, and what we should be doing, America first, Mexico ship Mexico first. Mexico, one of the things President Trump said to do, the third safe country agreements, he got Mexico to give asylum to a lot of folks in Central America. You and I both know they're not staying in Mexico. They're going to take the first opportunity to cross the border. Look, the problem is people need to realize, like I said, 90% of these millions being released will get order removal. They clock up the system. Some of these hearings now are 7, 8 years down the road. In that time, they build equities. They'll have UFC kids because they're born in this country. When I was ICE director, I even got calls from Republican senators. Hey, Holman, why'd you remove this guy? He's got 2 UFC kids. Why would you deport him? Well, he didn't have 2 UFC kids when he got here. He didn't have 2 UFC kids when he got order removed, but he went into hiding, had 2 UFC kids. So now he's immune. The court order means nothing. The court order, because again, the court order doesn't mean anything. What are we doing here? So, that's why the taking years it makes removal tougher to do, and that's why they should be detained. Look, the law is clear on detention. That's why we end the catch and release. The law is clear. It says if you enter the country illegally without proper documentation, Title 8 of the United States Code says you shall be detained. It's not a question. It says shall. But they're not doing it. They're releasing them. Why? Because they know most will lose their case, and they know they won't leave if they're not in ICE detention. So again, no one can argue the fact that President Trump his success on the border is unprecedented. He had, again, illegal immigration at a 45-year low. I say that Joe Biden is the first president in history of the nation who came in office and unsecured the border. Unsecured it. I worked for 6 presidents on Ronald Reagan. Even Clinton Obama took some steps to secure the border because they understood you can't possibly have strong national security if you don't know what's coming into the country. But no one did more than President Trump. But Joe Biden's the first president in history of the nation who actually came in office and unsecured it by writing over 90 executive actions that pretty much abolished everything we did. So it's and what they've done by doing that since Joe Biden's been in office, here's the results of what he's done. There's been well over 6 million people released in the United States. Again, 9 out of 10 will get released. Get order removed. 1.9 million gotaways. Who the hell are them people? They've arrested over 300 people off the terrorist watch list on the southern border, almost twice that on the northern border. Border Patrol's arrested people from 181 different countries. Some of these countries are sponsored with terror. If we arrested 300 southern border, how many 1.9 million came from countries sponsoring terror? There's a reason why 1.9 million didn't take advantage of the free giveaway program at a lesser cost. You pay the cartels 2 amounts of money: one to just cross the border and turn yourself in, and one if you want to get to New York, Chicago unscathed and not arrested. It's a lot more to get to the United States without being arrested. So why did 1.9 million people not take advantage of the free giveaway program? Why didn't they want to get processed, released within 24 hours, get a plane ticket to the city of their choice, get a hotel room? Why did they not take advantage of that? Because they didn't want to be fingerprinted. They didn't want to be vetted. These are going to be no suspected terrorists. These are going to be the ones carrying the fentanyl. These are ones who be sex trafficking women and children. These are going to be the gang members and criminals that don't want to turn themselves in. So that itself should scare the hell out of American people. So people keep talking about how inhumane the Trump administration was. Well, let me tell you something. Record number of Americans that died under Joe Biden because of the open border, over 114,000 fentanyl alone. A record number of migrants have died crossing the border, 1,700, another historic record. Sex trafficking of women and children up 600%, another historic record. Cartels are making more money than they've ever made since cartels started doing business, because they're making a record amount of money in alien smuggling, a record amount of money in sex trafficking, a record amount of money in drug smuggling. They've never been so profitable. So it clearly shows that Trump's policies saved lives and much more humane, because when we had illegal immigration down 83-90%, when 83 to 90% less people are coming, how many women were sexually assaulted? How many children didn't die crossing the border? How many Americans didn't die from drug overdoses? How many non-suspected terrorists didn't get in the country because the border is secure? President Trump's policies saved lives. Joe Biden's policies are killing Americans and migrants at record numbers. That's just fact.
Yeah. Wow, man. Facts. Okay. Final question. I appreciate you coming on. You spent many, many years in law enforcement. You can't really get somebody if there's no crime and nobody wanting to really press charges. Yet Letitia James and this Trump-hating judge, Arthur Engoron of New York, decide to go after Donald Trump for fraud in his business. All of the banks that he borrowed money from said, we all did our own third-party evaluation. We all decided to take on Donald Trump as a client. Every dollar was paid back. Every payment was made. Every interest payment was made. How can there be a $355 million fine with another $100 million in interest and penalties if there was no crime?
Look, it's our criminal justice system is weaponized. I'm convinced of that. I think he'll win that on appeal. He should. They're trying to take this man out. They're trying to destroy the man so he can't run for president. They know right now that he will win the election. So how can they prevent it other than stealing the election? Make him not eligible to run for president. Throw so much allegations of dirt on that some people will turn against him. Look, I think he'll win this on appeal. I hope God he does, because I think what they did was politically motivated, period. I think every billionaire or millionaire in this country will use a tax code to their benefit. I have a financial planner. His job is to make sure I retire comfortable and make sure and try to find ways so I pay less taxes. Anybody that goes to a tax preparer, you're all looking, okay, how do I minimize my tax burden? He's no different. So look, I'll tell you this. I've worked for this man. I've been with him hundreds of times, whether it's in the Oval Office on Air Force One or at an event. I can tell you that I've never met a president who loves his country more than he does. And I think he's not a perfect man. First, want to say that I'm not a perfect man. If you want your next president to be perfect, you better wait for the second coming of Jesus. Because I've never met a man that's perfect. I think if we don't take that White House back this November, we can't fix this. What they've done the last 3.5 years, 4 years by the time the election comes, what they've done in 4 years, it's going to take a decade to fix. If we don't get it back in January 25, I'm serious, based on me serving this nation for as many years as I've saved it, and see what's happening, we're done. I don't think we can fix it. Because they're going to do. You think they did damage this last 4 years? Wait till the next 4 years. So we have no choice. We have to take this country back, and it's just not voting for Trump either. We got to take the country back from the ground up. People need to get out there, vote for their mayor, vote for the school board, vote for the city council, vote for the governor, vote for the president, of course. But we need to attack this from the ground up, and we got to stop being silent. I mean, the left has no problem screaming and yelling and protesting while we're sitting back. I realize we don't do a lot of protesting. We all have jobs. We can't, spend our whole lives out there protesting because we don't live in our parents' basement. But you don't have to be silent. I think conservative silence is complicit in what's happening in this country. We got to make noise. We got to be heard. And that's why, look, I'm a busy guy, but I do as many shows like this as possible. And I appreciate for you what you're doing, because you're trying to educate the American people. So bless you for what you're doing. But we got to do more of this. And we got to educate the people on the truth versus the falsehoods of this administration. I've worked for 6 administrations, like I said. Every administration likes to stretch the truth. I've never seen an administration outwardly lie at the level this administration lies. It's disgusting. And we got to change it. We got to take the country back. Yeah. This isn't America I grew up in. I don't recognize this America. We got to have the America I grew up in back. And that's what President Trump wants.
Yeah. Well, I just want to end on some good news really quick, Tom. Right before we went on, the Supreme Court announced that Colorado inappropriately tried to remove Donald Trump from their ballot. It's been reinstated, which means Maine's going to be reinstated, which means Illinois is going to be reinstated. So this is really, really great news. It's just stepping stones to get Donald Trump back into the White House. And I know that you're going to be there counseling with him, consulting with him. And so anyway, God bless you. Thank you for serving our country. I know you're going to continue to do that. If people want to follow you online, what's the best way for them to do that?
www.border911.com. Border911.com. Go to the website. Actually, we're having an event April 4th at Mar-a-Lago. I got the best border team in the world that work with me. We're going to be down there again. It's a 501c3, C4. We're not being paid for this. We're doing it on our own because we want to spend the next 10 months going across the country talking to thousands of people on why, when they get to the voting booth in November, you need to make border security number one when you pull that lever. So border911.com. Take a look at it. Come to the event. If you can't come to the event, at least go to the website. Look what we're doing. I think you'll learn a lot looking at the website. A lot of data there you could use, but border911.com. You can find me right there.
Great. Thank you very much, Tom. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thank you for what you do every day. I appreciate you out there fighting the fight. God bless you.